Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Oklahoma City Sports Network. I am the Cowboy Crab, and today, well, another episode here, the Oklahoma City Sports Network, but today is also very special as tonight it is the Conference Championship live in Joston. It's in North Dakota as the number one seed Joston Jackrabbits will host our number two seeded Oklahoma City Twisters. A very impressive showing last week against the Raiders, getting the big win in the divisional matchup, and of course that useless redo that was only one play and doesn't in my opinion doesn't count because it was one play and then it was a forfeit from the Raiders. But yeah, so that is basically it from last week because there's no statistics whatsoever. I have looked, I cannot find them. So we'll talk about the score or from the divisional matchup, if that's even posted, which it is. 32-29, Twisters getting the win over the Raiders. Of course, though, with the Jackrabbits, they won 63-35 over the Sunbirds. But the thing that we're going to be needing to keep our eye out is the fact that the Jackrabbits are the number one seed. This is similar to the Vikings matchup in terms that both teams are undefeated going into this matchup. Now, the Jackrabbits did have a little bit of a scare with the Rams, a 1-point victory. The Sunbirds did not come close to beating them whatsoever. And, I mean, the Sunbirds only won by 3 to the Vikings, so you just kind of compare that to opponents. Compared to the Twisters, who won 32-29 over the Raiders. In the wild card round, Twisters won 42-37 over the Warriors. The Raiders, though, they won 46-21 over the Sky Kings. So, I'd say both teams tonight have had pretty even competition. You have a close game and then a not-so-close game. I mean, for the Twisters, the Warriors' third game wasn't exactly the most closest game in the world. But probably because the Raiders game was way closer and by far was the more impressive game to watch, in my opinion. But, yeah, so for tonight, so the Jackrabbits, we let me just take a look right quick at the standings. Just wait for it to load, but yeah, so you take a look at both these teams on paper based off of the statistics. I mean, from what I'm seeing right now, we're pretty evenly matched up, to say the least. I mean, Twisters, throughout the entire regular season, they were one of the higher scoring offenses, and the Jackrabbits, I mean, they're giving them a run for their money. 64 offensive points per game, 63 offensive points per game from the Twisters, 64 from the Jackrabbits. Defensive points per game, 46 for the Twisters, 45 for the Jackrabbits. Point differential for the Jackrabbits, 115. Point differential for the Twisters, 101. And then let me just double check. And then strength of schedule wise, I mean, 361 from the Jackrabbits, and then 306. So I mean, my God, this is the most toss-up matchup. I mean, there is slight differences between both of these teams, but either team could win. I mean, this is by far, in my opinion, it's the most toss-up matchup since the Vikings game. And that game was a huge toss-up. It was for the division. Both these teams were undefeated at the time. This by far is going to be the most anticipated matchup, in my opinion. I mean, the OWC Championship was looking good on paper, but, I mean, Atlanta just ran through them pretty much. I mean, Philly, it didn't seem like they stood a chance, which, I mean, the crab curse it technically struck upon poor Philly. They lost 62-27. They looked way out of their league in that matchup. So Atlanta will no doubt be watching this matchup very closely, as the winner will be going on to Miami for Victory Bowl 35.
Quick side note, it should have been streamed by me.
But, yeah, everything about this is telling me to pick the Jackrabbits. I predicted them in my rundown, but the crab curse currently is 2.5 for 3. So who am I going to go with? If I go with the Twisters, I look biased. If I go for the Jackrabbits, I'm staying true to myself, but also every time I've picked a team from like a rundown, they don't even make it. I don't even think I've gotten a single team right in the rundown predictions for playoff previews. So you know what? I'm gonna stick. No, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm going with the Twisters. It's gonna be a 3-point game, or it's gonna be a 1-possession game or less. By that I mean 8-point game or less. These two will go back and forth, and it will come down to who has the ball last. And I think the Twisters, they're going to get the ball last, and Bailey will lead the Twisters to score the game-winning touchdown. That's what I think will happen tonight. Final score, I have no idea. Both these teams are just on offense, they're units. Defensive-wise, Twisters by far is their biggest weakness. For the Jackrabbits, I mean, they have also let up a lot of points, but the offense also scores a lot. So, folks, this is going to be a 50-50 matchup that you are not going to want to miss. By the way, it is tonight at 8, which means it's only going to be streamed by yours truly, me, the Cowboy Crab. I've basically been your home for Oklahoma City football this season, and it will continue for the conference championship, which, no matter what, this will probably be the last Twisters game for the season. No, not for the season, but for me to stream the season, because if they make it to the Victory Bowl, I'm not streaming it because I didn't get the Victory Bowl. But Pro Bowl wise, I mean, you got some Pro Bowlers in there, so they'll be at least playing one more game. But outside of that, I think we'll wrap it up here. Twisters win by 8 points or less. Move on to their first ever Victory Bowl in franchise history to face off Finley and the Atlanta Phoenix. The Victory Bowl 32 champions. So, I think that's where we'll end it here for you today, folks. Representing the Oklahoma City Sports Network, I'm the Cowboy Crab, saying so long, everybody.
Oh, and also, quick side note, I'm congested as fuck.